Hey there, Monkeys here, and we're back at the Guardian farm that we built in episode 1. Been spending a lot of time AFKing here, and you know what? I'm really tired of AFKing here. So we've been working on a new wing for our massive build. I'm going to show you that in a little bit. And unfortunately, that thing takes just a ton of prismarine bricks to build. And you might remember this farm, last time I published a number, it was 2,500 an hour. But that's split across prismarine shards, prismarine crystals, as well as fish. And when you take into account that, what's left over out of the shards, it takes 9 shards to build a brick. At the end of it, I'm spending an hour just to get a couple of stacks of prismarine bricks. And that just doesn't cut it because, you need at least a stack per layer, and there's close to 100 layers in each one of those wings. So you can imagine this is going to take many hours to grind out all those prismarine bricks, and that's not good enough. So ran across some really cool Fun Farms videos by a YouTuber of the name of gnembon, and he had some really fantastic tips and just a ton of really super dense packed science into a couple of episodes where he explains all the details behind Guardian farms and points out that a lot of Guardian farms, maybe this one too, aren't as efficient as they could be. So there's a lot of small tweaks that we're going to do this episode to really crank this up a notch, because he showed a really simple basic farm that didn't require removing the monument. Pretty much the same idea we did here, and he's getting 50,000 an hour, and we're only getting 2,500. So I think we could do a lot better here. All right, check this out. We got a little bit of Minecraft science going on. Got a little cool counter thing going on the right side of the screen, so you can see the number of drops we've gotten so far, how long we do this, and then it calculates kind of a rough per hour number. And this is all based on this cool command block contraption, but also by gnembon. Really slick. So I enabled command blocks just briefly for this. Don't worry, it doesn't do anything cheaty, and we'll clean it up afterwards. All it's doing is counting the drops in our collection area. Figured a little bit of measurement, a little bit of science would help out our efforts a lot. So you can see our numbers are way higher than what I originally posted. 2,500 to 5,700. That's a big difference. So two big changes there. One is the Minecraft version number. They increased the spawn rates the drop rates in I think 1.9. So getting much better rates just from a little Minecraft update. And then the other thing is cave lighting. So when I originally built this, I'd done a little bit of cave lighting in the east, but have since done just a ton in the north. Found this huge ravine that was soaking up a lot of spawns, and could probably even boost this a bit more by doing a bit of cave lighting. I haven't really checked out anything to the southwest of here, so definitely some opportunities there, but pretty boring video for you guys to watch. So I wanted to focus on some of the more the cooler technical parts. So here we've got our killing chamber. We've got a one high lava that the Guardians funnel into, and then they're going to fall all the way down to as close to bedrock as I could get them, and then they kind of bounce around here for a good while. You can see this guy's hanging out. They hang out here until almost till the fire expires, and then they give up their drops at that point. But that means they're contributing to the mob cap for a lot longer than they need to. So we're going to make sure that happens more quickly. So I'm going to change the lava design up to one that gnembon showed, which is basically just 2 high lava, 1 block of air, and then 2 high lava again, and then you can get away with a much shorter drop. The other thing we're going to change up is the water collection. So right now they're doing kind of let's call that taxi cab distance. So they're just doing like right angles. So they're flowing down from this back wall all the way over to the trench, and then down in the trench into the lava. Definitely not a straight line. It's like a big L shape. Sometimes you get lucky and they're pretty close to the trench, but often they'll spawn from the back. So what we can do is we can change the water up so that it makes it a lot more like a diagonal flow as much as possible, shorten the time it takes to get them to the lava. We're also going to change up the heights so that they fall a bit more. I want to reduce the amount of swimming around. You don't see any good examples going on here, but sometimes the Guardians just kind of hang out. They swim back and forth. They swim upstream. I've even seen some jump all the way from this water back up into the spawn water above. So definitely slowing things down. They also don't like falling in the trench. They tend to jump back and forth across the trench, just like that guy did, and that slows down the time that it takes for them to get down the lava, and adds to the mob cap and slows down our rates. So that's the first thing we're going to do, and then after that we can tackle spawn rates, because don't want to do spawn rates first, otherwise we're going to have mobs raining on our head as we try to attack a collection. So let's do a quick time lapse and change up this area. Okay, so the work in the collection area is done. We've spent over an hour AFKing here. I just wanted to point out I've been using vanilla tweaks. Pretty cool little set of just resource pack add-ons. And this one that you're seeing right now, we're in the middle of a thunderstorm with the rain. Doesn't look too bad for recording, which is great. The sound is pretty low, so fantastic little tweak. So yeah, you can see over on the side there, the rates haven't changed a ton. We are up to 6,400, which is pretty nice. Not sure why the two counter values kind of flipped since the last clip, but oh well, that's the way it is. And yeah, this was kind of fun to build, but also a real pain. I'm glad we tackled the collection area first, not mob spawning first, because this first section was super difficult. I did it all wrong. Had guardians raining on my head most of the time. Spent more time fighting guardians than anything. Actually died, lost a lot of levels, and then did this next quarter over here. You can't really see it well from this view. And then tackled this guy here, each one getting better and better, and then the one that I probably built the best was this last one, which is off that way. Also finished off the lava here, so you can see there's you can see the top layer, but we've actually got 2 double layers of lava there. Wait, watch out, buddy. But yeah, that's working really well. The Guardians are expiring just as they hit the bottom of the hoppers. So unfortunately, I also died in the lava, lost all my gear, all my nice diamond enchanted stuff. But thankfully, due to our villager trading setup, we barely had to use any diamonds to get back up and running. Okay, so let's talk spawning. When I first built this farm, and I can't remember if I did this on purpose or not, I'm not sure if I realized Guardians will spawn in a block that has water in it, right? Check, lots of blocks with water. But the block has to have water underneath, right? So that means this bottom one here is ruled out because it has air underneath because it drops down. So that would leave these 2 blocks available. But then the other constraint is that the block above the water they spawn in can't be a solid block. So that means these middle rows are all good, but all these top rows are actually invalid because there's blocks above them. So out of all this water we've set them all up 3 high, but only this middle layer can Guardians spawn in them. We're not doing too bad for like pulling in pack spawns from outside, because most of the outside is either water or air, and it tends to be mostly covered. So I think a lot of the stuff that gnembon covered for pack spawns is mostly good for here. But yeah, really don't have a ton of spawning spaces, not as much as it looks like. So what we're going to do is do a quick check. If I just take out the solid blocks up top, what does that do to our farm rates? And you can see they're already kind of laid out here with prismarine bricks. So let's pull these out and see what happens. Oh, this is exciting. Check out that number on the right-hand side. We have cracked 10,000 just by doing that one simple change. So proof that one spawn layer was really holding us back. Now there's going to be kind of a lot of diminishing returns. I'm trying to tackle it this way, right? Like we could make spawning layers all the way up to the maximum height of the farm, but one of the problems we're going to run into is the higher these water columns are, the longer it's going to take for our little guardian friends to swim down to the bottom, fall out, and then get caught into the riptide current that pulls them into the lava. So the slower that is, the more we're going to be sitting at the mob cap, and that'll just limit the spawns overall. So what I'm thinking is maybe we try just taking the water columns up to the ceiling and see how that works. I don't think that'll be too much extra work. All right, check it out. We have now cracked 30,000 drops per hour. Been AFKing up here for almost an hour, and that's after increasing the spawning area. Added extra layers of water, so there's lots of spots for guardians to spawn into. Also did a ton of cave lighting. Found 2 huge minecart complexes nearby, lit those up, and that really made a huge difference in the rates. You can see in that last time lapse we had 25,000, and now we're at 30. Amazing. And I've actually had to upgrade our storage here, added a lot more chests to store some extra stuff, had to tweak the filtering system so that it's sending prismarine shards up on this side too, because overloaded that system. And I think I'm going to stop here because 30,000 is pretty much, we're getting kind of close to the limits of what the sorting system can even handle, and don't really need more than 30,000 an hour. That's a great amount. And so we've got tons of prismarine shards to work with now. Be able to craft a ton of blocks, and it won't take too long to get some more later on. So what are we doing with all this stuff? Well, let's go take a look at that now.